The most underrated team in the league right now resides in Miami, and we haven't talked about them at all this year, but the Miami Heat have a legitimate chance to cause some problems in a very weak Eastern Conference this year, of course led by Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo. The very underrated trade bringing in Norman Powell this summer was a home run. They still have Wiggins, who they brought in through the Jimmy Butler trade. Khalil Ware and Nikola Jovic continue to develop, and then Yakich was a really solid selection down there at 20. They have a ton of role players, and Miami could be pretty solid this year. Herro is the first guy to talk about here because he is still technically the franchise player. I mean, he's still yet to enter his prime and is their guy when it comes to scoring the rock. He's just 26 years old, coming off a year where he averaged 24 a game with 5.5 assists, 5.2 rebounds, and a steal in 35 minutes. Shot 47% from the field and 38% from three this year on 9 attempts. Really could be put into higher discussions when it comes to the top two guards in the league, but he did play 38% of his minutes at point guard this year, so we could start to see a little bit more of that. Since Herro is 6'5", only got that 6'3" wingspan, kind of a weird negative wingspan that you don't see much in the NBA, but I really could see him playing a lot more point guard this year, especially with the addition of Norman Powell that could slide him up to the 1. Of course, you got Wiggs, you got Bam, you got Khalil Ware. We'll talk about all these guys in a second. But whatever happens, obviously, I think Coach Spo is the best coach in the league. He'll get it figured out. Also, hype that he is now the Team USA coach. But Herro should be in for another big year. The guy I'm really excited about is Bam Adebayo because he is going to be a ton of fun to watch. I mean, look at him getting into his bag, little jab step jumper. That is the development of Bam Adebayo over the years. He's 28 years old. Of course, he's always been known for his defense. At 6'9" with a 7'1" wingspan, and his mobility, his ability to guard bigger guys down low, but now he is turning into a point forward, taking it coast to coast and getting to the rim and finishing with ease, like right here against the Spurs, where he just gets right to the lane and finishes with that right hand. Averaged about 18 points, 10 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 1.3 steals last year. Shot 49% from the field and 36% from three on 2 attempts. Watch him double the post right here, but it doesn't matter because Bam's got great vision. He's going to see Haywood Highsmith cut right in here behind Keldon Johnson. He's either got Khalil Ware on the perimeter or Haywood Highsmith cutting right to the rim, and he makes the correct decision and finds him. And then right here, working out of the pick and roll, getting downhill and finishing with that right hand. But that is a strong finish, just a grown man finish, moving Zach Collins out of the way mid-air. Bam's a big dude, and here he is once again, that point forward roll, finding Jovic running the floor, and gets the easy transition layup to go. Now the face-up game is where I'm really excited to see Bam this year. Watch him right here, little jab step, and then go. He's got you beat already. He can either kick or get to a little shoulder fake fadeaway. That is bag work right there. That is really tough. Little shot fake, jab step, and then I'm going right up over you. That is beautiful stuff. And then the ability to knock down the 3 and stretch the floor. Something we really haven't seen a lot from Bam, but now he's starting to get it. One dribble jump shot. His development is beautiful here. And if you haven't been in tap with the Heat, you haven't seen it. But, I mean, he's even working as a spacer off the pick and roll because of the way the rotations go. The guy that's guarding him has to play both. Doesn't matter. Bam's going to get the 3 ball and knock it down. And I'm really excited for the Khalil Ware and Bam Adebayo front court. And honestly, Ware was probably the most underrated rookie last year. In a class that wasn't very good, he stood out. He'll be just 21 years old this year after making a couple stops in college. And last year for the Heat, averaged 9.3 points, 7.4 rebounds, an assist, and a block in 22 minutes while shooting 55% from the field and 32% from 3 on an attempt and a half, even showing some range. And man, he protects the rim, standing at 7 foot with a 7'5" wingspan. Ridiculous. I mean, there's not many shots that get past him. That's an absolute volleyball spike into the front row, then working out of the pick and roll. Always a lob threat, especially on that weak side pick and roll when there's no help defender. And then again, just a volleyball spike right here. I don't know what Max Christie was thinking. Per 36, he averaged 15 and 12 with 2 blocks and a steal, proving to be a legitimate rim protector, as well as a guy you can have as a cornerstone to your future, but he can also space the floor a little bit and showed flashes of that. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting. Honestly, maybe a little low, right? He could have been a little higher. Maybe if he played a few more minutes, he could have been even higher, but a Bam Adebayo at the 4 and Khalil Ware at the 5, that front court is scary defensively. And then you have Nikola Jovic, the other young guy they've been developing here, and he had a really nice year last year as well. He's also very young. He'll be just 22 years old next season, and He averaged 10.7 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and 0.8 steals in 25 minutes, shooting 46% from the field and 37% from three on 4.6 attempts per game. Don't mind the score of this game, but he actually did kind of go off against Cleveland here. The last game of the series got hot from three. Now I know Cleveland's just kind of playing lackluster defense, but for a 6'11" wing with a 7-foot wingspan that probably should be playing center if he stayed overseas, now he's getting to play on the perimeter and be a stretch 4 or sometimes even run the 3. That's really nice to see. And this Miami front court could be huge in the future if they decide to go to some lineups with Jovic, Bam, and Khalil Ware. Imagine trotting that out at the 3, 4, and 5. It really doesn't matter who your 1 and 2 is. Now, the veterans for this squad, Andrew Wiggins, who they brought in last year at the deadline, and then Norman Powell, who they brought in this summer. And Powell comes in, all they had to do was give up Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a second-round pick. Or they didn't even give up the second-round pick, excuse me. They just gave up Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson and bring in a guy that was a spark plug for the Clippers all year long last year, averaging 22 points with 3 rebounds, 2 assists in 32 minutes, shooting 48% from the field and 42% from 3 on 7 attempts. The fact that they gave up an ancient Kevin Love who's like a day from retirement, and then slow-mo for Norman Powell, who will be just 32 years old next season, still in the back end of his prime, that's a steal right there for Pat Riley and this Heat front office. Even though it didn't make like the mainstream media the big news, that's a heck of a trade. And with Herro and Powell in that backcourt, you've got a ton of firepower, and then you throw in Wiggins at the wing with like Bam and Ware at the front court. That's some fantastic defense to couple up with all that firepower. Now, Wiggins will be 30 next year, coming off a year averaging 18 a game with 4.6 rebounds and 2.8 assists, as well as a steal and 0.8 blocks. Shot 45% from the field and 37% from 3 last season. So a guy that, was more than capable of holding his own there at the 3 for the Miami Heat. He is 6'7" with that 7-foot wingspan. Always had those intangibles that made him the number 1 overall pick back a while ago for the Minnesota Timberwolves, but apparently now he's a guy that can go for 40. Now, of course, this was against my Charlotte Hornets, so take it with a grain of salt because we just decide not to play defense from time to time, or all the time, but he had 42 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, shot 16 of 21 from the field, 6 of 8 from 3, finds Ware right there, horrific defense from Mark Williams, and then just attacking Tijon Salon, the rookie right there, jab step 3 ball, and this starting lineup right here could cause some problems, especially in a weakened Eastern Conference with no Dame, Tatum probably out for the majority of the year, and Halliburton out. That's 3 of the top 5 seeds. Now the Heat have a chance to make some noise. They also go out and draft Kasparas Jakučionis with a late first-round pick, a 6'6" guard with a 6'8" wingspan. They got him 20th overall. He was projected to go late lottery, and I thought he was going to be a bit of a reach if he went late lottery, but not at 20. This is a heck of a pick. 15 points a game with 6 assists and 5 rebounds, 44% shooting from the field, 32% from 3. Now, the shooting inefficiency is a bit worrisome for a 6'6" guard, but hey, he was a freshman, came from overseas, and the shooting stroke does look pure. It looks pretty solid. Now, they also have a few other guys with like Terry Rozier, Davion Mitchell, and Jaime Jaquez that all could give them some minutes, maybe Pele Larson from time to time, but I think this Heat team could be really good. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the Heat, and with that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.